Um, yeah, in this video, like, I just want to focus in on like martial arts, and I've just watched like a really quite an informative video about Aikido, which is one of the martial arts I studied. I've studied Aikido, um, Ninjutsu, which is actually based. It's the ninjutsu I learned was basically it's actually based on the samurai, uh, and then with a couple of schools of ninpo or real ninjutsu. But don't believe. Yeah, I'm going to talk about martial arts. So I'm going to talk about the martial arts. And ninjutsu is another one. Um, and believe me, we used to train hard. Like we used to you know, jog through the city in full, well, not a ninja outfit with the mask and all that sort of thing, but we had, the uniforms with tabe, like outdoor tabe, and we, jog, we do push-ups on our knuckles, on our fingers. The guy had a cane, my sensei had a cane, and we used to do live rolling, like for all those people who are into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is just like the most unbelievable martial art that's ever, come out, and that nothing can beat it. Like, I've sparred Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with people, and if you were on the street, if I was to use ninjutsu in a fight, it was always frustrating me. Or the other martial art I did, which is called Yang Mian. And I really strongly suggest people who are martial arts, hopefully they see this video, because I love all martial arts. One of my cousins is actually like one of the highest ranking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu players, or whatever they're called, in the country of Australia. And she's a tough nut, So I'm not taking away from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but like if you understood Yang Mian and understand what it is, because people think Kung Fu is, even I did, I never used to like it, but when I first did Yang Mian, when I first saw a guy do a punch in Yang Mian, you can actually hear a sound go thud when he does the punch, which is coming from internal. His whole body's going thud, and you can hear thud, 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 thud. There's a guy who is incredible, a guy who's not the sensei. The sensei can actually touch you and just drag energy out of your body, like completely make your arm go cold. And I didn't, like, it's real. One of the things I did, so because people think chi is a load of shit, and it's what I don't like about martial arts now, Everyone's into MMA, and I've sparred like heaps, and I've been in fights, and I've done things like my training partner, who, if you know what Yang Mian is, like we were actually got to the point where we were afraid of each other. Like it's so, the pain is so much because of the power that you're actually can generate. And so it's like using chi energy from your dantian, your cauldron, which you build up. Like one of the exercises like this was actually, it's called steel body, and it means you can get a full punch like that, and it just deflects off your body, I've seen two yang guys. It's full, like, like I used to be a little bit afraid of street fighters, because they're like so fast, bang, they can come in with these kind of big jabs like that, real fast, it looks pretty good, the bang, 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 like this kind of thing, it looks really effective, and it is effective. Like street fighters, I'll tell you what street fighters have got, and it's what you gain when you do something like Yang Mian. But I'm going to talk about Aikido because my training partner was about 135 kilos, and I have no idea what that is in another scale in pounds. But I want to talk about like how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and kickboxing put together created MMA, and I've watched heaps of MMA. I used to watch those fights, and I always loved it because I originally saw the original, because people don't know that the guy who set up MMA, set up the first whatever they called what were they called, whatever it's called, street fighting. It was set up by the guys who did. The guy who won all the time, he's got a, Yeah, what was his name again? Chow. I've forgotten the guy's name, but I watched it back in the day when it first came in and people were wearing different martial art uniforms. I saw a kickboxer and a judo guy go against each other, and you know, the judo guy just threw him on the ground and just went like this, bang, and just elbowed this black kickboxer in the head and just absolutely knocked him out, like completely fucked him up, And this is when they used to wear like actual outfits. And that guy who did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he kept cleaning up and winning, and he would go and challenge people, you know, like in the beginning. And he's the one, his family are the ones who set up that fighting system, the whatever it's called, MMA, you know, and set that up. And I won't take away from what MMA does. It makes you like incredibly fit, and like it makes you a good kind of fighter. But they do the same things over and over again. And the thing is that if you want to think if Yang Mian is street effective, which it is, like there's a guy I know who was doing Yang Mian, and he would go out, you know, only after he'd only done it for about, I think maybe 6 months. He'd only done it for 6 months or something, or maybe a year. And he'd go out, he was a bit of a violent guy, I think, you know. Anyway, he would take on like 10 people or 6 people with Yang Mian, no problem. And he would, I think he would start the fights, which is not good. I'm not trying to give him a bad name, because the people that do it are actually like big dudes, you know, and they're tanks. And if you watch Yang Mian videos and understand what steel body is, and understand that there are like the guy that I went to a seminar with, you know what I mean, who, you know, when I was wet behind the ears, but I was still pretty good, you know, like I was all right. But as I said, there was a sound that came out of this guy which I've never heard before in any martial art. Yang Mian. You should look it up. There's some guy, I think in Germany, who's learnt, and he's only learnt like for a very short amount of time compared to the guys that I knew, you know. And he's become pretty big on the internet, like he's made a business out of it. But he's German, and he actually, if you find the video, I might link to it on the bottom. He's actually got the sound. You can actually hear the sound, but when you actually hear the sound in real life, like I can't do the sound very much. I used to get it, you know, when I was doing one of my videos. Actually has the sound in it, but you have to listen to my early videos, because when you do a punch in Yang Mian, like a normal punch, you know, just a normal punch, okay, it's just like this, like bang, you know, it's like that, you know, like these quick punches, you know, like that. Like that's a good punch, isn't it? These Street Fighter kind of punch, you know. But when you do Yang Mian, like, sorry, the thing is like my dog is exhausted. Yeah, she's a hunting dog. Rebecca, if you want to know, yeah, curly coat retriever. Look them up. They're amazingly great dogs. She's an absolute bully. Like she's an absolute bully, but she's a great dog, you know. And yeah, obsessed with ducks. You know, obsessed with swimming and ducks and hunting. You know, and I've had my other dog was like I swear they're an Andromeda dog. Like I swear they're seeded from Andromeda. I know I'm obsessed with Andromeda. But what I wanted to say was, like, because this video is all about martial arts, is that once I built up my chi and I understood how to cultivate my chi by doing simple exercises which look like they're absolutely stupid, but like one of them looks like this. I'll show you turtle back. You got this. Like that. Like that. Right? It looks like that. But it actually builds internal chi inside, which I'm sure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu got. Sorry, I'm not the greatest dude anymore. I've had some a bad run, you could say, you know, my experiences. But I do want to talk about martial arts. And I want to talk about real ninjutsu, which, as I said, when I used to train that, when I was in high school, and I've trained it subsequently as well, as I said, there's a misconception about it. It's actually very much samurai orientated, with a couple of schools of ninpo, which is the ninjutsu style. Like, you know, grabbing the skin and stuff like that, right? And ripping the tendons out, stuff like that. Going for the face. Because what I did to someone once, and this is to prove how incredible Yang Mian is, I watched an SAS, and people don't know who the SAS are. Well, you know, if you're not into that sort of thing, you won't know who they are, but it's the Special Air Service, which is the precursor to all special forces that exist in the world, including well, I'm pretty sure even the precursors to the SEALs. And the SEALs are incredibly tough people, like in the American military. Like they've got superhuman, you know, like fitness and ability, what they go through. But that's what you build up when you do Yang Mian. And I wanted to tell people that when I built up enough chi, energy, and what I did was I watched an SAS video, and in the SAS video, and you think these guys are a joke. Like, if you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, you're like, oh yeah, some SAS guy, you know, like, bullshit. They're killers. They go and they actually kill people. For real. Like, they use fighting, and they use a kubatan, which is a ninja implement. You know, it's a Japanese implement. They're actually banned in this country now. But they never used to be. And I was watching a video a long time ago, seeing an SAS guy dragging a guy out of a window of a car, demonstrator. And they've actually been used, I'm not going to go on about it, but they have been used in anti-demonstration, and they, you know, there's a good side and a bad side to everything, isn't there, you know? But anyway, I was watching this video, and in this video, this SAS guy was showing his technique, you know, and it's very, very rare. I've looked and I can't find it anywhere, you know. This is a guy whose dad was in the SAS, and I used to hang out with him, and he had the video. So we watched the video together, and anyway, in it, he showed it, I'm pretty sure it was in the video, anyway, he showed a thing where he comes up like this, he's like this with the guy, and all he does is go like that, and just pushes in here, and just pushes the guy down into his throat like that, down into the ground. That's a real SAS, Special Air Service, Special Forces actual technique, you know, very ninjutsu. And I used to train with guys who were in the SAS, you know, they actually bought machine guns, you know, I wasn't there at that time, but they actually, you know, in the ninjutsu camp, which I missed out on unfortunately, spewing I did, they actually would throw like flashbangs and stuff like that into the rooms in the morning without telling the students. And if you know what a flashbang is, it's like, you know, it's like a huge sound, like a concussion grenade. You know, I don't know if they're firecrackers or flash. I can't imagine they, but they actually brought up like, you know, machine guns and stuff like that. And there was guys who were in the military who trained ninjutsu. So anyone who thinks it's ninjutsu, you know, is crap. And I will say this: but when you stick your fist out like this in training, you know, it's not. I don't like it either, because most people go like this. Bang, 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 you know, they go like this, like quick jabs, you know, bang, bang. You know, it's not like this. They're not coming out straight like this, you know, which is what you learn in ninjutsu. But, like, anyway, I'll go back to what I was saying, that this particular technique where he goes, this is a guy, and this guy had, like, aggression. That's what street fighters have got, you know. But don't worry, like, Aikido can beat it, can beat aggression, and Yang Mian is just brutal. Your energy is so massive that you know, like, I'll tell a story of a guy who just finished training, and you know, we do steel hand. Like, you don't know what steel hand is. It basically turns your hand to this lump of like a mace. And it's like you have a mace, like your arm is like a mace, you know, and it's like this huge weight on the end, and the punches are different. They come out like that, like this, like that, and it's a lot, you know. Before I learnt before I learnt Yang Mian, like, I've learnt, you know, Aikido when I was young, and then I did Ninjutsu, and then I was interested in Systema, and anyway, and then I did Yang Mian, but Systema is very good, but you got to know what you're doing, and you know, but they're very good. They understand things. Like, they can drop knives from up here onto their stomachs and the knife bounces off. Now, how's that possible? That's a fully sharp knife. They're psychopaths, some of those Russian Spetsnaz guys. That's Spetsnaz. That's where the guys who actually teach that martial art, props to them. They're actually Spetsnaz. You know, they went to Chechnya, and they've actually had footage of them in Chechnya. It comes from the Cossacks, and it's all about being loose. That's the same as Yang Yan. And it's what boxing, they have kind of loose jabs, but they haven't got power. And you've got to generate all your power from your legs, don't you? Twist up like that, you know, and kind of like this, you know. But I was telling you about this SAS guy, and this is an incredible thing that I did, and that's when I worked out Chi, what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys probably are thinking, or not street fighters. I won't discredit street fighters. I'm just saying, like, you know, typical kickboxing, you know, boxer type mentalities, which, you know, they can overpower some martial arts, you know, that have done like their traditional styles, like Aikido, because of aggression, because they're actually projecting their aggressive chi energy. And believe me, chi energy is real. And anyway, I'll go back to this SAS guy, Special Air Service Regiment. That's the special forces of both Britain and Australia and Thailand. No, they got some other name, you know. But anyway, and New Zealand. I think that's the only ones that got the SAS. And anyway, in this video, if there's any SAS guys watching, which I don't, you know, they might watch, you know what I mean? I don't know. But you know, I've always been obsessed by them, basically. You know, the SAS, and I'm not going to, you know, do anything bad. I'm definitely not a terrorist. You know, you know, I'm against, like, you know, the jihadis and all that sort of thing. Like, I think they're crazy. You know, all these people, like, not letting people learn in education and, like, chopping people's hands off and stuff like that. But then again, like, you know, they're involved in wars that are, you know, they've done bad things too. Like, you know, that. But, like, anyway, I won't go on about the SS, other than say I saw this video when I was quite young, where a guy did this technique, and he had aggression. You know, he had, like, aggression. When an SS guy comes in to you know, with a gun, when they come in and they, you know, they bash the door down, they come in like the SAS, they go yeah, like that. They scream. They go yeah, like that. Because what happens is you're projecting basically your chi energy. That's what you're doing. Like your actual, when you go, yeah, you know how the karate people go, hey, yeah, you know, they, yeah, like that. It actually projects, like, there's a guy that can ring a bell with that. He goes like that or something. And there's a giant bell, and he actually rings the bell with his voice. And anyway, they're projecting. That's why when they come in, they scream, because it makes people go like that. And in that time, bang, you got him. In that split second, you've got him. You know? And that's why these flash bangs as well. Because, you know, everyone goes, oh, like this. And they go, ah! And they go, oh, what? And bang. You know? They're dead. And, you know, you haven't seen the Iranian hostage siege, you know, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, they did kill people in that thing. They have to do something, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm not for the oil barons, you know what I mean? I know what war's about, you know. Watch Andy McNabb, he talks about it in his video. Like, I was obsessed with the SAS for a long time. I'm not going to do anything. I have practiced these, you know, in Australia. Like, we can't really, you know, people do own weapons, but it's incredibly restricted here. You know, probably the most restricted place in the world, I think. I don't think there's anywhere else that is as restricted here as, you know. When I grew up, it was completely different. We had, you know, people had guns, they had knives, you know, it was legal to carry like a kubatan, which is like a lead pencil with these two prongs that stick out the way. You could have one on your keychain, you know what I mean? It wasn't illegal. Like, we used to train ninjutsu with real weapons, you know, like real swords, real kama, you know, the surigama, one with a chain, weighted chain like this. We used to train like a whole hour after we'd done training, you know, with the guy with the cane and all that sort of stuff. And he you know, this guy was like from the military. I'm not sure if he actually was from the military or not. But yeah, much props to Kevin Hawthorne, who was much maligned because his students did go out, like a lot of them, and actually practice their ninjutsu skills and break into houses and stuff like that. And when I was younger, I was a bit of a rapscallion. I admit that I even did some stuff like that. You know, and I learned to make myself disappear. But you know, that was when I was young. Like, and now, you know, I'm older. It was like 30 years ago or something like that. So you know, not like I'm doing anything like that anymore. But what I was going to say, I'll just get back to chi energy and something that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, who I'm so sick of hearing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu being just this amazing thing because of MMA. You know, as I said, I watched the first MMAs when they used to wear their proper uniforms. You know, all the different styles were against each other, and that guy did dominate. You know, but he's not going to dominate against a Yang Mian guy. Yang Mian guy is just going to, you know, and if, like, I've practiced with a guy, you know, who was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and you have to play by their rules. There's rules to their fighting, you know. In Ninjutsu, there's no rules. We used to do ground fighting, like proper ground fighting. I think Ninjutsu, like, there's not a whole bunch of dudes anymore, I think, you know, Bujinkan people, I don't know if they do it anymore. But we used to train, like, we'd sit in a circle, and we'd actually do, like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rolling, but we'd be doing ninjutsu with it. You know, it was different. So we'd use locks and strikes and you know, actual, you know, pain submissions in ninjutsu, which you can use, you know. But in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's all these rules. Like, you can't do certain things, you know. And anyway, so I was going to tell you about chi energy, so I kind of skipped around a bit. But basically, like, I saw this SAS video. I'm going to hark back to that now, where this guy came in, you know, really aggressive. He was showing his SAS. This is a military. This is a military martial art that he was learned. You know, he's learned, and it was to come in like this, and then push down on the throat, and just come down, and basically you just it's like a pressure point, and you just go straight down, and the guy just a submission straight away. The guy just falls. You know, and it's a no bullshit move. Because you know, a move like this straight to the throat, you know, obviously you got to watch out. You know, obviously you can kill people with that, but this one you can kind of direct them down to the ground, and it's not actually going to kill them. But anyway, what I did was, and people are going to think this is bullshit, but it's absolutely real. I did it to my friend, my friend who was my training partner as well, who used to live with me. And if he ever, you know, I don't know, he dumped me as a friend, but anyway, I did this move to him, and he'll attest to it. If you know, if we ever get, you know, make up and like he comes back into my life, which I don't think he will. But I did this to him, but I actually visualized something, and I came in with the same mentality as the SAS guy. I visualized the SAS guy when I was doing it. I was showing him, oh, I've seen this. And I said, you know, can I do that? I said, what's this? And I did the thing to him. And I stopped about that far away from his throat, right? But basically I did a chi blast at the same time because I was doing Yang Mian, building up all this chi energy. And he couldn't use his throat properly for like 2 weeks. And I didn't touch him. So that's no touch. And people think that's bullshit. It's not. As I said, the guy, Master Yang, you know, who is unbelievable. Like, I've only seen I've never actually met him, you know, like, I'm in a different state. But I've seen his top student, and his top student was talking about MMA. And when he moves and does any elbow, like bang, it's like bang, 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 bang. It's all like that. There's a huge thudding sound that goes boom, 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 vibrating out from his body. That's how much power you generate with Yang Mian. If people think it's bullshit. And it's all elbows, you know. Like, my friend, again, tried to, he did Yang Mian as well. He's 130 kilos. And he's no, you know, his fists are like this, his arms are like this, you know. He's 130 kilos. He's fucking could move like a Yang Mian guy. That's fucking fast. Like, they move much faster than any street fighter. Yang Mian, like, it's the most brutal martial arts I've ever come across. bar none, what it can do. And he tried to get me with a sucker punch, like boxing style sucker punch, because we were sparring, and he didn't want to telegraph what we were doing, you know. And we did get to the point where we didn't actually want to touch each other because it's that painful. It's just ridiculous, like how painful it is. Because it's, you know, you actually hit. There's one training where you smash your arms together like this, and believe me, it hurts like buggery. And there's guys that got bones that stick out like that for doing hits like that, and just they can, you know, they get stones and just hit them with 2 fingers and smash the stone in half. That's how much power is coming out and chi energy, which people think is bullshit. It's not bullshit. It's what the Jedi's thing's based on, you know what I mean? As I said, I did a no-touch hit to his throat because I visualized this SAS guy, and then I used, like, I had Yang power, in other words, Yang, which is all generated from the Dan Tien here. And their philosophy is so unbelievably esoteric, it's incredible. Like, I don't even understand it, and I believe me, like, I understand esoteric philosophies and stuff like that, especially to do with martial arts, because I've done them ever since I was a kid, all different types. And anyway, so my friend was trying to get me with like a, it was like a left or right, it was a left jab, you know, like, actually with real intent, you know, coming in at me, and I just did this, I went, like that, bang, like that, just, you can't see in the video, but it goes wham, like that, right? And it's this fast. Like, you don't get an experience of it because it's on video, but when you're actually in real life, it's scary. Like, I'm not saying like I'm the best, like I know these guys out there, like absolute terminators. You know, they'll fuck up anyone. Like, they are like, it's basically like, you know, they do go into underground street fights and actually, like, you know, fuck people up. And there was a guy called Big Daddy Brown, if you want to look up, he did Yang Yan for 1 month and then just won MMA, just went in. And there's Master Yang. I've got the DVDs here. And he just, you know, Big Daddy Brown just kind of gave up after a month, but he did do the loose punches and all that. And this Maori fought, his face exploded when he punched him. There was blood just going, and, you know, it's a real deal thing. As I said, I did a no-touch punch. When I did this to his, you know, my friend's sucker punch, which he was trying to get with a sucker punch, I hit him just lightly, right? And he's got giant hands. I could have basically crushed his bone into nothingness, but I just nicked him, and no shit, it was like Popeye the Sailor Man. He had a throbbing that large. It just came out like this and was actually pulsating. Because it was an energy punch. It's energy inside from the Dantian, which shoots from here. You got to learn about what energy is and how it works. And you know, I don't care. I'm not really afraid of anyone. Like, you know, like, I'm not really afraid of people because, you know, it's just there's something, you just lose that fear of anything when you do yang, which is kung fu. And I used to think kung fu was a bit silly, but when you actually realise how incredible it is, you know, you got to understand it, you know, and so, and the other thing is, like, I've thrown, I think I said that in another video, I threw my friend who tried to again sucker punch me, you know, 135 kilo guy tried to, I think, kick and punch me like one after the other. And I threw him using Aikido, a bit of Sistema. Like I said, Sistema is pretty wicked. And all I did was this, I just did that and did this, like that. And his legs were projected up at me like this. Like his feet were, so he was in the air. His feet were here. And his hands, I just had both his hands just lightly on his hands. And I moved him around like that in the air, so his whole body went 135 kilos of a guy, moved like this. And when I put him down, I remember putting him down with his feet coming up at me like this. So I had to sucker punch me with a kick and a punch, not telling you what it was. And I put him down, and he hit the ground, but I actually, somehow, this is, he always called it magic, and I didn't even know how I did it myself. But, like, it was using Aikido and Sistema, which I've learned. I just did this kind of like loose kind of kick, and like this kind of thing, And I put him down with no pain. That's 135 kilos of a person hitting the floor. This is in midair, like he flew in midair. And I've fought black belts in Taekwondo and thrown them around like missiles too. You know, using classic like Aikido over the hip and Ninjutsu throws, and then ended with these kind of like all these, you know, like not incredible, but they're insanely powerful blows. And you've actually got to watch out because you can actually just do this and not hit someone, and you can fuck up their energy field. Like it really fucks up someone's energy field. There's a guy who just finished training, young man, and he just finished training and he got jumped at the station. So he turned around with his, it's called Surshwan, and just went bang like that and smashed the guy in the face, caved the entire side of his face in, all the bones and everything, all his bones in his skull were completely caved in from one punch because of how powerful it is. You know, you build up a giant fist, it's true, but that's not what does it. It's actually internal energy which transfers from your Dantian, which is right here, about this far down below your thing. And when you actually punch, you go like that. You actually have this pressure thing that happens. So it's not like a normal punch where you just jab out, you know, or something like that. It's like that. And the guys who can do it really well, and if you look at these German guys, they've got a girl who's doing the punches, the search ones, and you can hear the like that. That's the sound it makes. You know, so I just wanted to make this video. I don't care. It's probably not going to be seen by many people, but like I've always loved martial arts, and I've had, you know, I've actually gone against things in spiritual realms as well, where, you know, I had to actually do punches against and actually take out basically reptilians that were attacking me, and nothing was working until I started visualizing, you know. And then basically I destroyed this being, you know, but he came in to attack me. People don't believe in it. Like, you know, if you open your third eye, like that's when you actually realize a whole bunch of things. Because until you've done that, until you've actually seen with your third eye, you can't, or you've been out of body, you know, seriously out of body, where you've actually left your body and you know you're out of body. You know, I did it when I was young. I actually did a simple thing, laid in bed. This is before, you know, I knew, but I've always known, I saw a craft when I was young. I was about 13, that's what changed my life. I saw a silver metallic UFO craft. I'm a abductee too, you know, missing time and everything like that, you know, which happened later on, you know. But I've had classic things with the owl, the projected owl. Yeah, something happened. I'm pretty sure it's the Greys who did it, though I don't really think are very good, you know. I don't know. They're definitely real, but there's plenty more alien extraterrestrials. So, you know, there's plenty more extraterrestrials in the universe than just the Greys. There's a lot of them. And I can talk about the Antarians, because the Antarians, they come from an ascended, in other words, a different dimension planet that you can't see, because it's just the sun there, I'm pretty sure, in Antares. But there's actually a planet in the ascended, in other words, in another dimension. Because that's where a lot of these extraterrestrials and stuff come from. They come from different dimensions. Like I said in another video, how a giant craft came right above my head and just went shh like that, and it was giant. Had a giant purple shield on it, and there was an Andromedian craft. I've seen it since then. But when I was 13, I saw a metallic craft with a light going on like this, going around it, and I didn't know what it was. I was looking at it and going, what is that? Is that a blimp? That's what I thought. It was during the day, and it was really close to me, just above tree level, not that far away from me, and it's pretty big. And I was like, what is that? And I was like, well, I just kept looking at it going, is that a blimp? Where's the advertising? Where's the little thing underneath the... Because it was silver, you know, it was full metallic craft with a light just going like this. One light. And I was like, I looked at it for quite a long time. And it was just hovering there, slowly moving like that. During the day, it was at dusk. So it was getting on dark. It wasn't actually dark, it was daylight. And So anyway, that's what triggered me when I was about 13, and kind of I then researched extraterrestrials. And if anyone's interested in reading any books about ETs and the amount of ETs that are out there, there's freaking thousands. Some of them are from this universe, and some of them are from, like the Lyrans. They abducted a guy. They abducted him. Well, they kind of did. He's a contactee, but he actually went back to the Lyran planet. He's from New Zealand. He got hassled, like me. He got hassled by the intelligentsia, or the that's like secret police. He got hassled like I did. And like they still do things to me to this day, but I can't really do anything about it. There's something I could do, but anyway, I'll tell you this. It's not a story. It's actually a real thing. And he wrote a book about it, and it's incredible. I can't remember what it's called. I've got a huge library of these type of books that people should really understand. Like, a lot of people have had experiences, and when you open your third eye and you've seen into dimensions, or you've been interdimensional yourself, there's a lot of time when you're dreaming, when you're at night, you're going into a dimension. You actually leave your body and you go into a dimension, and you're in a completely different world. That's what there is, like a dreamscape, but a lot of it is chopped up, and time is all weird. But that's what your dreams are. Some of the time, not all the time. And I've actually woken up in a dimension. I was with these kids. I'll tell you, and then I'll go back to the Lyrans, and because Brian is a Lyran. I have no doubt about it. And if you want to know what Lyrans are like I've seen like a Lyran. I think I said this in another video. I saw some Lyrans. They're people like Claudia Schiffer. She's a Lyran. She's a seated Lyran. They're ridiculously good looking. Like I'm not into Claudia Schiffer like her looks necessarily, but she's got a kind of this. Yeah, the guy Don Johnson. He's a Lyran. They have a look. They're extraordinarily good looking when they're put into a human body. Like seated here. And Pleiadians look Pleiadian, like they just look Pleiadian. But when you've seen a real Pleiadian, like I've seen like actual Pleiadians that look like an extraterrestrial, and they're incredibly good looking. Like they've actually, I'll go into a bit of this because all your memories have been remixed. A lot of people don't have like a memory. Like I know people aren't going to believe it, so I don't really give a shit anymore. But they actually murdered everyone in my street up here. This is going to sound absolutely crazy. Because I saw them. Every car had been taken over. Like they were all different. They were those white cars. Like I know the people. This is a giant street I'm talking about. And then the next day, bang, they were all back. And this has happened many, many times. I've retained the memory. Like I've walked around with a day where there was like ETs and gods walking around going like, God beings. They're real. There's creator beings, some of which are evil, which I've had to, they tried to chop my legs off in this dimension, and if a particular thing hadn't happened, like I was totally conscious with my third eye completely open, they had saws and like all sorts of things. That's why I've had non-stop like crazy experiences in the dimensions. And that's why I said in another video, like people that have OBEs or open their third eye and all they see is like beautiful things, I'm just like, wow, you're lucky, Like I've been in different dimensions and seen incredible things, but like I was saying, I had a beautiful experience. I'll tell you this, and then I'll go back to the Lyrans and this guy's. It's not a story; it's a real fact of what happened to him. Because he went to Lyra. They're called Dokuls, their houses. And they basically they have a force field around them, and that can turn to a wall. And they live, and everything's in Lyra. They're really tall, and they're incredibly good looking. And I think it is real that a lot of different races are spawned from the Lyrans. I think that's actually true. I'm not entirely sure. And the Orion Wars definitely, I'm almost positive. Happened, and that's what Philip K. Dick was talking about in Blade Runner, when he says, "I saw ships off Orion flaming, burning ships. It's in Blade Runner. And that's what it's from. Philip K. Dick downloaded all that stuff. He wrote that incredible book, which is really realistic, because there's like these watcher beings, and they're very real. And it's called the Bureau, the Adjustment Bureau. And believe me, like that is, there's elements of truth to everything Philip K. Dick talks about, and a lot, yeah. If you look into Philip K. Dick and who he was, like a prolific writer, and they've made so many. Minority Report, like I'm trying to think of all the other ones. So many sci-fi movies are made, like Total Recall. That's another one of Philip K. Dick's. That's another one of his books that they made, which is Paul Verhoeven, who's an Andromedan. Like I can just pick people's faces. I'll walk around during the day and just go, "There's an Antarian." Like I know exactly what an Antarian looks like. I know what a Lyran looks like. I know what a Draconian looks like. There's good and bad Draconians. I know what a Palladian guy looks like. I know what an Andromedan guy looks like. I know. And I walked around, like I was saying, everyone's memories have been totally remixed. I mean it. Like you have no idea. Like there's a force that's basically taking all your memories and just taking them away. Because I walked around in the day when there was like god beings, and they honestly they didn't even know what they were doing here, And there's ETs walking around, and I love extraterrestrials. Like I just love ETs, Like there's really bad ones as well. Like I don't think it's pretty bad. Like there's a lot of good, demons are real. Like they're really real. They're not ETs. They're actually demons. They could be class them as a type of extraterrestrial, but they actually are a demon. Like they're real. They've got yellow eyes and stuff like that. And they actually take energy from people, like vampire energy and stuff like that. I've been vampire for like 8 years, like hardcore. And basically, like they take the energy and then they morph themselves in dimensions to look. That's what Ryan does. If you want to know, Rebecca, I actually went. Like other people probably don't have any idea what he's talking about graduating, what Ryan's talking about, Ryan de Ruin. In other words, Ryan the Lyran. I'm pretty sure he is a Lyran. He's an evil one. He's got that look, isn't he? I admit it. He's pretty good looking. A lot of people kind of like. I think girls fall for him. You know what I mean? Because he is pretty handsome. But that's where it comes from, Lyran. But he also steals energy. He's a torturer, and he murders people, and he told me point blank to my face. I went and actually hammered him. Like I went to America and actually went, what are these guys about? Because they seemed to be able to see what was going on in my life and making videos about it. So I thought, I'm going to go and meet these guys. And believe me, that's exactly what they were doing. So Rebecca, if you think they're watching you, well, yeah, they do. I know why they're probably watching you, Rebecca, because you're a bit of a powerhouse. You're a bit of a, it's like sit here with a machine gun with a big gun ho, doesn't it? But I've always been obsessed with martial arts and weapons and self-defense and stuff like that. And I've had to defend myself in all sorts of ways and use ninjutsu and all sorts of tactics against bigger opponents and stuff like that. I've gone up against beings in dimensions which are so powerful, and in this world where I've actually, after I just survived. I used to war with these beings, and I just survived. Me and my higher self were working together, and I just survived these battles, and I'd be wobbling out. That's why I've said I've almost died so many times. I'd have to walk around the block, and my higher self, he was wobbling out too. He's like, "We just walk around, just go around the block, and we're gonna make it, Ash. You're gonna make it. We're gonna make it." And that happened quite a few times. Getting a bit of an attack now, yeah, so that's my experience like battling beings and stuff like that. And when you've seen, I've seen real these hardcore reptilians, because there's quite a few different. I used to mulch reptilians. I got basically it was like the energy of God came through me through my finger. This is very special. People should look into who Zoroaster is. Good words, good thoughts, good deeds. That's what his philosophy was. Because people like Jesus, and I do like Jesus, even though I don't even know if he's real or not, but I'm pretty sure he was. He's based on it somewhat. I think his name was Yeshua or something like that. And he was a terminator of demons too. Don't forget that. That's what he did. He wasn't all just like, just live by his tenets, which are basically do unto others, and stuff like that. Like, I used to say my saying was what Jesus said, and just that's my philosophy, like what Jesus said, what he said. Because, I find that the Christian philosophy has been, and religion has been, manipulated. As I said, like angels are real, demons are real. If you don't believe them, well, that's it. And I said I walked around a day where it was so extraterrestrial. This is in the city, real life. This isn't even in a dimension or some sort of dream or something which probably people are rationalising to themselves. He's talking about being in a deluded state where something was going wrong in his mind or something like that. Because that's how they explain it off. But it was a real life thing. And these people have morphed. All their faces have morphed. They were all full on extraterrestrials. The whole vibe of the city was so extraterrestrial that I couldn't handle it. Because you have to actually feel it. Watch out, puppy. You have to actually feel it. You know what I mean? She's a bull-fed, this dog. Just a puppy, but she's giant. Love you. Yeah, very beautiful puppy. Her name's Darius. Yeah. And believe me, all my higher selves, and we've got multiple higher selves. People have multiple higher selves. I've got like even a reptilian self. Actually 2 of them. Oh yes, puppy. Good. She's such a gorgeous dog. How much is this? 46 minutes. This is a long video. But that's what I was saying. All your memories are being remixed because these things have happened. Like I've walked around and seen gunshots going off everywhere. And you can, throw away the key and say I'm mad, but I'm not. And these experiences are real. It's not me having a hallucination. These are actually real events. And people have actually, other people have known these things are going on. Like Ryan the Room was in so many bodies. It's insane. Insane. Like, there's a place, they call it the Dewar, or something like that. And it's exactly like, I'm pretty sure it's like in the Matrix. Don't ever think this place is like the Matrix. You know how people always think that? It's the Matrix. Like everyone saw that film and went, the Matrix. But who is the guy, and who is that guy? What the hell's going on with my computer? He's, I want to talk about the movies a little bit just now. Just talk about a little bit about the movies. But they always name John, aren't they, or Jack, the guys in it. I'm pretty sure it's because they base the main character on like a Terminator Jesus. That's what they do in the movies, Jack Reacher. Jack, it's always Jack or John. John McClane. And basically, like, I'm gonna I'll talk about one series of movies which something that people have just not clicked onto and not understood. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. It's probably a bit dangerous to talk about, but maybe I won't. But anyway, yeah. The main thing is that, like, you believe me, like, your memories have been remixed. So have mine. Like, reality is very malleable. It's not like you think it is. And there are a lot of dimensions. Like, a lot, I've seen a dimension that if I was to actually have my third eye activated to that dimension, it was so insanely neon and thick. It was like thick paint. And I saw it with my eyes open. Not like this, looking through my third eye. Or like Ryan does, where he kind of squints like this and he looks up. You can look up through your third eye like that. And my third eye was on for ages. I was doing shows, like I actually had, it's like, you can just morph. Like you want a gun, bang, you just create a gun. You just think of the gun and it's there. And then you can use it. I actually created an intent gun and got beings and my higher self and stuff to shoot me. I know that sounds weird, but it was to heal. I created a gun to heal in the dimensions called an intent gun. And the bullets are intent rounds. And that basically means that when you're shot, it's based on intent. So what it did was it, it hurts only if you've got bad intent, or that you've got some built up like negative intent in your body. And so when I first started getting shot with these bullets, they did hurt quite like a little bit. Like no, they hurt quite a bit because I had like I just built up so much negative intent. Because when I first woke up, it was all kind of incredible. It was all beautiful and kind of like I was seeing all these beings and hanging out with them and morphing, and I was doing all this stuff. And like one of the first things I did, which only I think I noticed another person in the world actually noticed it. One of the things I did was change the color codes of the world. That's what I've been doing. That's one of the things I've been doing, which people don't notice. People don't notice that the color codes have changed. The light was sick here. And that's what Andromedans do. They code. And so do other beings. They code. That's what I was saying to people in my other video. When you're talking like this, hey, how you going, man? Like that. What's going on? Hey, bro. You notice that people talking and they talk with their hands. They're coding. That's what they're doing. They're coding. Like when you do this, man, I was shocked. Like this is how I used to battle, like this. Then open up. Like I'm not going to talk about because I don't want people to experiment with it. But it actually, when you understand it, it's actually. My brain used to work on a completely another level, like insane level. I once had a discussion. I'll just say it now, where all I said was a couple of other beings, maybe 2 other beings or 3 other beings, and we had 1,000 thoughts in 1 second. I'll just give it a number of 1,000 thoughts, but it was actually conversations on 1,000 different levels, and all we said was chair. And in that 1 second, like I had 1,000 different conversations with 3 other beings, all going like that. And that's the level of you can get to. I just say 1,000. Could have been more, could have been less, but it was about 1,000. It's one of the most insane experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And people can chalk it up to some sort of mental disorder if you want to, but I don't really give a shit. It's not a mental disorder. It's actually real. And that's what happened to me. So I went from martial arts to, extraterrestrials and doing. I'll end with that. It's a real book. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's real. And he really got taken to Lyra. They're giant beings in Lyra, by the way. They're about like 13, 14 foot tall. And they really picked him up in a triangle craft. And to get him to the ascendant planet, because it's in a different dimension, they have to. He described that they crossed into a dimensional space, just like in Star Trek when they go and go warp speed. That's what they did with the ship. They go warp speed to get to Lyra, because it's ridiculous what the scientists say and stuff about how they can't get here and there. And, they got some rocket out the back. Like, how backward is that? A rocket. It's ridiculous. I mean, back when it was invented by the Germans, or the Nazis who invented the rocket, and, it was pretty high level. But, people should look up lifters and Townsend Brown and other, Tesla and people like that, and realise that, they've got craft. The government have got craft that can levitate and do all that stuff. I used to get, I got used by the military in other bodies. I did. And other people have been too. And I got technology taken out of me. Like I know someone else out there who I really wish I could talk to them again. Someone else, not you, Rebecca. I know, I do actually want to talk with you again. But someone else out there I want to talk to who had this stuff inside them. Real technology, which had to be taken out. And, it had terminated. It had termination technology built into it. So when they took it out, it tried to terminate me. Yeah, so I could feel everything, this stuff inside me. Like, it took a long time to get it out. It wasn't easy. No, anyway, I'll end with the Lyran thing. So anyway, this guy got taken to Lyra, and he, in a spacecraft, he got picked up in the physical, and then taken through a dimension, and got taken to Lyra, where everything there is bigger. They've got like, they've got butterflies and everything, like it's incredible. And they've got these things called dockles, and they're basically like a house, but it's a force field, and it's right in the middle of this giant canopy. Everything's giant because it's so healthy. That's what happens, when you take away all the suppression fields that are suppressing us here. That's what happens here. We get suppressed. All sorts of fields working out, electromagnetic frequencies that are just like bombarding us all the time and stopping us from reaching our true potential. I was watching something that said, fluoride in the water doesn't do anything to calcify your pineal gland. Like, what a load of absolute garbage. Of course it does. Your pineal gland controls your emotions, it controls all sorts of things. It's not just your third eye, which is absolutely real, which lets you see into dimensions. Once you've had those out-of-body experiences and dimensional experiences, you can never look at the world again the same way. It's impossible. When you've seen beings, like, I've seen like 3 different types of reptilian beings, maybe 4. One of them was so scary, like when they actually tried to kill me. Like I've almost died so many times. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Like I've almost died. Like I'm still worried that I'm not gonna, that I might go, and I don't want to, I'm definitely not gonna, don't ever think, I'm never gonna commit suicide. I'll tell you that right now. I'm glad to get done on video. Never. I'm not, I love life. Yeah, definitely. And, I'm not going to harm anyone else, or anything like that, any human beings or whatever. I'm not going to go around harming anyone. And I've gotten out of a lot of that stuff. I've been threatened many times. I've gotten out of it using techniques, martial art techniques, actually. And as I said, I can actually tell you, I don't know if I've said it in another video, but the Antarians and the Jedis, I've actually had experience with them in the physical. Because they can come down here and they look very much like you and I. That's what extraterrestrials can do. And angels can come down. And it says in the Bible, that, I think it does anyway, no it does, that they came down into, Sodom and Gomorrah, and they went to the house and they appeared as if they were human. But they knew they were angels. It's in the Bible. And they actually entertain us. And there's a saying about, be careful because you never know when you're entertaining angels. It's a saying that people say, and it's absolutely real. Angels can come as human beings, and so can extraterrestrials. And the Antarians, like I don't know if I said this in another video, I'm sorry if I am repeating it. I know it's a long video, and probably like 10 people are going to see it. I don't know, no one ever comments on my videos hardly at all. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you like stuff that's like, I'm telling you stuff that's real. This is not lies about martial arts, about extraterrestrials, about your minds being remixed so you don't remember things. People have been actually killed and brought back to life in real life, en masse, and people have no memory of it, and I wonder why not. And you can say I've got a mental illness, but I don't. I really don't. I'm a completely sane person. And I've had some insane experiences, but I'm a sane person. So anyway, yeah, it's important you know that people have been taken off this world many times, and they're usually hassled by the authorities, afterwards. And the Men in Black are real too. I know it's a movie, and it's actually a really good movie, more about like what it's like. Because unfortunately, there is like real reptilian stuff walking around, just like what Dave Like says. I've seen the slit eyes and stuff like that, But there's not only those beings. There's Antarians and all sorts of other beings in the universe. It's countless, like how many types of beings. And if you want to research extraterrestrials and find out the truth about extraterrestrials and about how many different types there are, go and read Timothy Good books. Go and do yourself a favour, Don't read about Roswell. You know how they just always talk about fucking Roswell? We know the greys are here, we know, There's some sort of breeding program, like, you know, I mean, I'm a ductee, I know about it, I'm missing time and everything, like, had implanted memories and stuff like that. I've been sitting here, and then all of a sudden, my house is completely shifted, all the stuff's everywhere, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Oh, look at the time, it's like 5 hours later, I've lost like 5 hours. I was fucking abducted. I had people in my fucking room holding my legs down. Well, I came back into my body, floated back into my body, and I felt people holding that, the other ETs or human beings, actually holding my legs. And I floated back into my body, and I just thought, that's fine. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know? Totally mind controlled. There was either ET beings or human beings holding my legs down. And I've been used as what they call a super soldier. And people don't understand what super soldiers are. And, you know, a lot of people think it's a load of bullshit. And there's probably people who make up stories and stuff. But believe me, I've been deprogrammed by a deprogrammer. And like afterwards, my eyes went completely crystal blue. And she said I had all sorts of stuff all over my head, like, you know, like basically, because they do, like, you're programmed, you know, like people, you got to understand what programming is. Like I said, people talk with their hands and they're programming. You know, to program and do stuff like this, you know, like all this stuff, you know, like I can balance. I don't know if you can see this, but like these are balanced. I can go into any balanced like state. These mudras, you know. Christians probably think it's evil, like the gangster or whatever. And the gangsters do use them. Bloods in the Crib, you know, this classic one like this, you know. They do that one, don't they? And they do this, you know. But it comes from somewhere, you know. It's actually, like I said, very Andromedan. And the other beings know about it as well. But like I'll tell you something about that, because what I'm doing is when I'm doing these, see this? Right, you see that? I can go into it immediately. And what you do is, I'll do another one, right? Right, and basically, see my things like this? Basically what you do is you have to actually maneuver your body, because it's not just your hands. You go into it, like, there's another one, like that. Yeah, see how my body goes into that position? And you can't see, but my foot is pointing up like that. Right? And that's balance. It means you go into balance. And if you hold these, you know, like I'll do another one, I'll get into balance. Hang on. There we go. I'm trying to get into balance. Right, that's it. You've got to get into the right thing. So I've got to shift that way. And if I hold this, I actually gain energy. Not from stealing it. Like a Luciferian or a vampire or something like that, which are absolutely real if you want to know the truth. Basically, we're living in Blade meets Blade Runner meets Star Wars. Star Wars is a very real movie, you know. Like you can't see what I'm doing here, but like, see my hands, like this one's it's touching a point inside my hand, and it's perfectly in balance. It's not just some gangster thing. Do you know what I mean? Like this, you know. Orale parto, you know. I got a bit of connection there down to South America. I like the South Americans. There's some heavy, hardcore reptilian action going down there, and I'm down there. But fuck, that's everywhere. But and, you know. So anyway, this is an hour-long video. So anyway, you know, you might not be into like weapons or anything like that. You might be a new ager, like, or something like that. You're into crystals, because crystals, you know, people don't realize, like, you know, a lot of technology we have uses crystal technology, and gold's used in heaps of stuff, you know, in computers. Like these metals and stuff. You know, people think it's all new age fairy shit, but it's not. Like, you know, even a record player uses a diamond. Diamonds are crystals. They're special. So if you know, crystals aren't like all like, oh, I'm a crystal person, you know. And people are like that. They are very crystal new age kind of types. But at the same time, like, you've got to respect that these crystals are incredibly important. And like, I don't agree with having a diamond on your fucking ring, like, you know. But like they say, gold makes you feel a certain way. I believe it. I don't have enough money to own anything gold, but you know, I know how to actually. I know a little bit about making stuff, you know, which is a bit off-world, you know. Unfortunately, they stole all my stuff, and here you can't get copper wire. You can't buy copper wire in Australia. In America, you can just go down to Walmart or whatever it's called, the Bunnings, we call it Bunnings here. You just go down, you can buy it for like $20. It's insane. You just buy it for $20 and you get a huge roll of copper wire, which is incredibly powerful copper wire. Because copper wire is conductive. You can make stuff, and I'm not talking about bombs, you know what I mean? I'm not a terrorist. But you can make stuff that affects people in dimensions. And Ryan the Ruin makes stuff. And I've seen how he makes it. His higher self just shows him everything. You know? And when I could see with my eyes, I could see the energy coming off his, you know, the stuff he makes. But he ripped me off big time. Because he used to spy on me. Team Light would spy on me, like make videos and stuff. And so, you know, that's why I went to America. I went there twice. And, you know, I'll probably go back to America. I really love America. It's beautiful there. America's a very special place. There's no doubt about it. You know, well, I like all different countries. You know, I'm not a racist person, but you know, and you know, like I think one thing I found out recently, which you might find interesting, is the difference between Muslim people. And this is where it might sound a bit bigoted, but I don't mean to be offensive here, but the Sunnis seem to be very aggressive. Sunni Muslims seem to be extraordinarily aggressive. Not all Sunni Muslims are aggressive, obviously, but they seem to be the ones that are causing most of the problems in the world. And the Shia are basically, from what I know, a closet Zoroastrians. And people, if you don't know what Zoroastrianism is, or Zoroaster, who he was, you know, this is where you know how Ryan throws up this particular thing in his videos. Rebecca, you know how he does this particular mudra like that finger. Go and look it up. That's Zoroaster. That's Zoroaster who does that particular mudra. That's who he's copying. That's who he's ripped off. He does. He steals people's ideas. He used my music in his clip, and he said, "Oh, I'll give you props and stuff at the end," and he never did. You know, and I know he does it to lots of people. They steal ideas from people. And I was told by an Aboriginal elder about his wands, you know, and stuff. And people are buying his wands. Like, I hope you see this video. Like, don't use what are you doing? Grabbing a being. Remember how he says you do this and you just grab a being and get them and then bring them forward to you so you can talk with them. Have you ever thought about how insulting that would be to an interdimensional being? Just using a wand and going, grabbing and then going, you're going to talk to me now? But that's exactly what he says. Tell me if I'm wrong. And don't believe, like, we don't have, I want to get this clear, you don't have an angel on one side and a demon on the other. That's what they teach. That's Luciferian. That's what the Luciferians teach. You got to do good, and then you got to do a little bit of evil. You know what I mean? A little bit of bad and a little bit of good, and then you blend that together, and that's the balance. That makes you 50-50%, you know, balanced. And believe me, I went balanced crazy. I know what the balance is. That's why my you know, tag is dusk. Because it's the balance between day and night. And it's my favourite colour, which is purple, which is Andromeda. You know, that's what their colour is, purple. And the enemies are basically vampires. And, you know, their energy vampires are absolutely real. They're real. I know this is like a lot of information. You probably, I don't know who's watching this video, but, you know, oh, buffhead. She's such a big, giant buffhead, this dog. You know, it's just an absolute buffhead. Aren't you? Aren't you? You big buffhead. She's a complete buffhead. But she's a duck obsessed buffhead, aren't you? You have to hunt the ducks. You know, hopefully you never get one. You know, because they're so beautiful, aren't they, the ducks? But anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, yeah, so that's an hour long, yeah. So I will, yeah, try and post this video, and like it's going all right. Sort of, like I said, even vampires are real. You know, like actually, I've had a guy actually turn to me in real life when I was hunting these things. You know, a bit of a term. Well, I won't say the word, but I was doing a lot of different stuff. I've done a lot of different stuff, and I walked into a particular place which is a complete vampire hangout. Like they're real. The vampires are real, believe me. And this guy turned around and went like that. Actually hissed at me. I just went, fuck you. Because I fucking hated him, you know what I mean? And that vampire the shit out of me. Alright, puppy. And they're absolutely real. And if you want to know, I'll tell you something about, this will probably interest you a little bit. Most people don't know this, but, you know, if you want to know what a vampire drink is, it's Coca-Cola. And it's for people that get turned, because what they do is they bite people in the dimensions, right? They bite you like a, you know how they talk about love bite and stuff like that, like alien love bite or whatever. And it's basically vampires. What they do is they bite you. They can shift phase in and out of reality. I actually saw like the you know, a shadow like go past my back of my head. All right, puppy, she's such a bullhead. That's my dog. You know, she's such a bullhead. Just yeah. all right, puppy dog. And anyway, all right, get out of my face. See what I mean? It's completely so strong, my dog. This is like ridiculously strong. This is like an absolute tank. Yeah, I know. She actually bowled over my stepfather, completely knocked him on his head, you know, with her body, because she's so heavy, aren't you? You're so heavy. But I stopped biting. No biting. So anyway, I was saying this is, yeah, it's probably interesting because Coke, I was a big Coke drinker, you know, but it's not only got a lot of sugar in it, which will give you parasites. I'm not going to mention which ones, but it'll give you the parasites. And that's what it's designed to do, by the way. That's why they have half the sugar. A can of Coke has half sugar in it. It's that dissolved into the can. I learned that when I was in high school. But the reason it's a vampire drink, and what they do is the vampires actually bite you interdimensionally and feed off you. That's where vampires comes from. But they're actually real too, and I think some vampires drink blood and all that sort of stuff. It's like I said, we're living in a Blade Star Wars reality. It's real. And basically, in what they do is they bite you interdimensionally, feed off you, you know, interview the vampire. That's a pretty accurate type of movie, really. And believe me, they'll feed off you interdimensionally, and then you turn. Believe me, you can turn into like a type of vampire person yourself, where you'll actually vampire other people's energy. Like I didn't do that deliberately, but when you get into a really argumentative mode, what you're doing is you're poking holes in the other person's field, and you're sucking the energy off them. You're an energy vampire. That's what you turn into when you become a really argumentative person. You become an energy vampire. So they turn people into vampires, and then what you do is you crave energy. So what do? You drink Coke, because Coke gives you energy, but it also gives you blood. That's why it's a red can. Don't believe me? Type in Carmine. I don't know how you spell it. I think it's C-A-R-M-I-N-E. Carmine, which is, I think, 660. That's the number of it. Or is that? No, 660 might be something else. But Carmine is derived, and where Coca-Cola, why it's a red can, like blood. That's what it represents. Blood. Because Carmine is blood. It's a crushed up bug, which gives Coca-Cola its red colour. You know, you look at it's like brown, but then it's got a slightly red tinge. That's what's a red can. Carmine. And they used to put Coca-Cola used to have. You can look this up. I know it's real. I've seen the ads in National Geographic for Coca-Cola where it used to be served in hospitals because it had cocaine in it. It's completely addictive. And then they took cocaine. That was one of the special recipes. But it's got blood in it. Carmine, which is crushed up bugs, which they harvest off. Cactus, and that's what they just call it a dye, but it's actually the crushed bugs. So it's blood. It's basically, and so when you turn from being bitten, right, by these interdimensional vampires, which can feed off you, like he told me if anyone's interested in Ryan the Ruin, like I went and hang out with him. If you've just seen his videos, you don't know what he's like, do you? You just see what he's like on the videos. Go and hang out with him. He told me point blank, my 4D self is a vampire. He's also a demon. That's who's showing him how to do all that stuff. And an elder told me when I went up with my crystal wand, thinking like, oh, I'm going to save the world with my crystal wand after, because I was completely spellbound by meeting him and stuff, because he's an incredibly charismatic person. He seriously did. I was in his house, like just out on his house, and something stabbed me energetically in the heart. And I turned to Ryan and I said, I'm like, what's going on with my heart? Like, I'm getting stabbed. And he went and looked, because he does. He looks, how he does. He looks with his closes his eyes, looks through his third eye, which you can see perfectly well through his third eye, by the way. There's other people who can do it too. I've done it before. And he looked up and he said, oh, my higher self saying, come from your heart. That's what he said. His higher self was just stabbing me with something right into my heart. And he fucking could see it. Why is it complete, like, if you trust this technology, like an Aboriginal elder, I hate to call them Aboriginals, but actually told me to chuck the wand that I had into the ocean. It was so evil. He was an Aboriginal elder. And I was getting permission to go to a sacred site. I'm not going to say which one, but I had to wait a month. I was being raped energetically by beings while I waited. And believe me, I saw stuff there. I had to do anything. Because people don't understand this about the Kuris. I hope this video, I'll just keep going. I've said about the Kuris, like Aboriginals, like they're not all Kuris, that's just from Victoria. But the Aboriginals, I'm just going to call them that for now. I think that's a bad word. I had to do a ceremony where you'll see Aboriginals and they've got white dots painted on either side of their heads and a white dot painted on the middle of the head, and they wear a red what do you call it, like a head scarf kind of thing, a bandana, like a thin red bandana, and that is, you know what that is? You know why they have two white dots painted here? Because that's where your interdimensional hearing is. That's where you can hear beings. And they know that. So that's what it represents. Two white dots represents, because it's on either side of your head, not in your ears. That's not how you hear interdimensionally. You actually hear from the side of your head. That's where the hearing is interdimensionally. And they put a white dot here for the third eye. That's exactly what they're talking about. They're not backward, beings at all. They're completely in touch spiritually. Like, not all of them. That's just like the Native Americans. They're not all in touch spiritually. They're, they're not. So, anyway, I'll leave it at that. And I don't think I probably think I'm a pretty violent person. I can talk about martial arts and all stuff. But I have to use all this stuff in real life and death situations, you know what I mean? Yeah, really, it's friggin' scary situations, which were in the physical. A lot of the things I've had done have been in dimensions, but a lot of it's been absolutely real and physical. Like I said, look up Carmine. See if I'm lying. See if it's not crushed up bugs. Is that what bug powder dust is from that, Have you ever heard that track, Bug Powder Dust? Is that what it is? Bug powder dust? I forgot the guy's name. The guy was like a heroin addict or something, and he wrote all those books. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is one, you know, where he sees the reptilians in the movie. Turns around, there's these dinosaur people standing there. He's on acid. What do you think? What do you think acid does? It opens your third eye, doesn't it? Just like DMT does. If you've ever done DMT and you don't believe in dimensions, you're an idiot. Like, seriously, people think that, like, you know, that I've had like acid experiences or anything, mushrooms or any of those. And I'm not condoning going out and doing it, but if you've had those experiences and you've gone, what are all those colours? What why am I seeing this and that? Why is this happening to me? Because you're opening your third eye, and it's also that all these connections get opened up in your body, where information, incredible amounts of information, I just learned this recently, incredible amounts of information can come into your senses, which are normally blocked for your own sanity. But when you take those hallucinogens, they flood, you get flooded with information, and you're seeing into the dimensions. You're seeing dimensionally. You know? If you go to ayahuasca and you honestly don't believe in dimensions or beings or anything, I don't know what's wrong with you. I've had DMT once. It's the most life-changing experience. You know, I could see right through my hand. My hand was invisible. I could see from about 12 different perspectives of my head from all around, all at the same time. All at the same time. And, you know, oh, who cares? How's that possible? How can you see in 12 different perspectives of yourself or whatever, all at the same time? Just try and visualize what that is, and you can actually do it on DMT. And it only lasted for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then it just went, and then I didn't feel like smoking any cigarettes or, you know, at that time I did smoke marijuana, which I don't do anymore. I've given that up. I don't do that sort of stuff. I don't even drink much. You know, something happens to me where I can't really, you know, enjoy drinking. But I do like a sake beer. As I said, it said, hey, say hi. That's what it is. I'm not joking when I do these kind of decoded words. Like, human, that's my bloody download from bloody Renee. You know, about a month before he said that, I'd already downloaded it, written it down. Human. It means the hue of the rainbow, because there's so many different types of beings here. Like I said, I've met, like, there's not many of them around, like Arcturians, but they all do. They're all a bit weird. They all kind of look down their nose at you, just like he does. He's always threatening you, isn't he? Arcturus Ra, saying that, pointing a fake gun, you know. But, like, he does. He's always kind of like a bit kind of like, I'm this, what is it, the guy from The Matrix. He's kind of like this big papa guy, isn't he? He's a complete torturing psychopath. If you knew what he was really like, you'd be just like, the gall of this guy to go on videos and stuff. He's one of the most evil people I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure that he is the being they call known as Satan. And I'm not actually, because Atta means fire. That's for sure. That's if you want to know it's Satan, yeah. Atta is fire. ATA means fire. Yeah. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. And yeah, I might make another video. I'm just going to keep telling you about all my experiences and what reality is really like. So much love to you, and please look up the Zoroastrians and look up Zoroaster and why he uses this particular symbol. Because if you type in Zoroaster, you'll see why it is that Ryan uses that symbol, because it's from Zoroaster, stolen from him, by the way. Anyway, peace out.